Hello everyone. We are back with our final chapter of the semester. It's chapter 7. We're going to look at writing patterns of authors in our textbooks. So, yay, we are finally at the end of our semester. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe. I know COVID cases are going back up, hospitalizations are going back up. It can be a scary time. And I know a lot of you are probably essential workers as well in retail and fast food. So please stay safe as much as possible. So before we get started on the PowerPoint for Chapter 7, I want to talk about what the last couple of weeks are going to look like, especially timing wise. So this is week 12. This should be the week after Thanksgiving break. And so, as always, you've got the 3 assignments. So in this first one, you are going to read certain pages out of Chapter 7. Now, Chapter 7 is a little bit longer chapter, but we're not going to cover everything in it. We're just going to look at 5 different writing patterns authors have. So you're going to read pages 355 to 356, pages 360 to 376, and then the gray box on page 384. If you did not purchase the textbook, the library is missing some pages from this chapter, so I have provided those textbook pages right here for you. And then here is the Chapter 7 PowerPoint, and then you'll see multiple videos here that we're going to go over everything. Then assignment number 2 is going to be the review cards. You're not going to do all of them. So for the Chapter 7 review cards, you're going to do page 389. You're going to only do the bottom box on page 391, and then you're only going to do the top box on page 392. Okay? And then you have the Chapter 7 review guide. And that is week 12, the week after Thanksgiving. Week 13 is going to be our last week of class. And so you've got 2 assignments. So the first one is Reading Selection 7.2. You're going to complete the questions 1 through 20 plus respond in writing only number 1. Again, if you didn't purchase the textbook, here are those pages for that reading selection. And I've put those questions in a Word document. A lot of you use the Word document for this assignment and then you highlight the answer and stuff. And so that's been hopefully convenient on your end. It's been convenient on my end as I grade. And then instructions for taking the Chapter 7 test under the quizzes section here. All right, and so that is week 13. Now, all of Chapter 7 material is going to be due, and we'll take a look here at December. It's going to be due before 11:59 in the Dropbox on Wednesday, December 16th. So here's week 12, here's week 13, and then this is when it's due. Now, normally, for all of our other chapters, you would have a third week to get this done. But here's the thing, this is our last week of classes, and then the 14th through the 18th is finals week. So we're running out of time, okay? So it's important that you get this stuff done as soon as possible. It is all due on December 16th. Now, that is during finals week, okay? Final is going to be on Cobra, and it will be available starting December 14th at 8 a.m., and you will have until Friday, December 18th to finish it. Okay, the Dropbox will close at 11:59 p.m. on Friday, December 18th. Okay, so there is a bit of an overlap here of when Chapter 7 assignments are due and you can take the final exam. Okay, so don't expect a lot of you wait till the very last minute to turn in your chapter homework. If you're going to do that this time, understand that you only have 2 days then to do the final exam. There will be no final exam review guide assignment to do, but I will post under the content tab in a final weeks folder. It'll be listed after week 13. I'll list all the items that you need to know for the final exam. Okay, so you'll have that to study by. And I would also recommend going back using your review guides from each of your chapters, turning the question and answer into flashcards. Those would be really helpful to study with. Okay, so this is what the rest of the semester will look like. We've got week 12, week 13 with Chapter 7. That is all due December 16th, but I would recommend getting it done earlier because your other classes are going to get busy, and this is finals week. The 18th of December is done, okay? We're done December 18th, all right? So please let me know if things come up and you have questions about anything. All right, so let's go ahead and we are going to look at chapter 12, or week 12, chapter 7. And here is the PowerPoint. Again, these are the page numbers we're going to be looking at. All right, so in this chapter, we're looking at what is called writing patterns. And writing patterns are ways authors organize the information they present. We are going to look at not just like a chapter of organization, we're talking about one paragraph, how that one paragraph is organized. Okay? And we've got 5 different patterns that we are going to look at. This is from your textbook on page 355. And so this gives you some examples for each kind of pattern we're going to look at. Okay, so this first pattern is our definition pattern. And here's an example. And a lot of these kind of patterns we use in everyday life. And so that's what these are. These are just examples to show you what these kind of patterns look like in everyday life, especially as a college student. So if you said, my art professor asked me to prepare a portfolio, a representative collection of my work, that would be a definition pattern. Okay, here we're defining the word portfolio. Okay. Another pattern we have is a list pattern. I'm taking 4 courses this semester: history, psychology, reading, and math. Okay. Here with a list, we're just listing our things. It doesn't matter what order they go in, we're just listing our subjects. But then we have something called a sequence pattern. I have my history class first, then psychology class. On alternative days, I have my reading class first, then my math class. So here the order matters because you're taking classes at a specific time on specific days. Then we have compare contrast pattern. So here we're looking at the similarities when we compare 2 or more things, or the differences. We're contrasting 2 or more things. I have weekly quizzes in history and math, but not in reading or psychology. And then finally, our last pattern we're going to talk about is cause-effect pattern. So we have a cause, and then we have an effect because of that cause, or reasons why something happened, and then the result of it. So if I maintain at least a B average this semester, my scholarship will be renewed. Okay? So if you do the one thing, the other thing will happen. All right, so why is any of this important to recognize an author's writing pattern? 1, comprehension will improve. That's kind of been basic for every chapter we've done. Number 2, you will be able to predict what is coming next. So if you can see something as a definition paragraph, then you know that this is just about the one term and it explains it for you. 3, it will be easier to memorize information when you study. And then 4, your writing will improve. Alright, as with the other chapters, there's always a comprehension monitoring question. So when recognizing an author's writing patterns, you want to ask yourself, what pattern did the author use to organize the main idea and the supporting details? Okay, so we looked at topic, we looked at the stated and implied main idea, we looked at our supporting details. Now we're looking at the order of how the author put all of that information together. Alright, so our first pattern is definition, and I've written certain things over on the right, and then on the left are boxes. This is more like a visual of how the paragraph could be represented as, okay, if you need more of a visual representation. So with the definition writing pattern, it's a pattern presenting the meaning of an important term discussed throughout the paragraph, okay? And remember, with our stated and implied main ideas, that definition could be anywhere in the paragraph. And the term is your topic, the definition is your main idea. Okay, so your stated main idea of this paragraph is going to be the sentence that has your term and the definition in it. And we have signal words, so the author might use this term, means, is known as, is called, refers to, and is defined as. And remember, terms a lot of times can be in bold, italics, or in color. So that paragraph typically might start with the definition, the main idea, and then all the other information, all the other sentences in that paragraph are going to be additional information about it. Let's look at a short paragraph for an example. Productivity refers to the amount of output you generate given the amount of input. The more you can produce in any given period of time, the more money you are worth to companies. So what term are we defining here? Productivity. It's in bold. All right? And so that first sentence is our definition of it. That is our stated main idea. Okay? And they did use a signal word. They use refers to. Okay? So that is an example of our definition pattern. All right? I'm going to end the video here, and we'll pick up with our writing pattern number 2 in video number 2.